Hello and welcome back to All About Community. When we went to break, I was speaking with Councilperson Sheng Thao, who is also a candidate for mayor of Oakland. And as you know, we have an election coming up, November 8th, and it's so critical that we get out and vote. Regardless as to who you decide to vote for, it is important to vote. Looking at District 6, District 7, and some of the other areas around, but especially District 6 and 7, there is enormous blight. You just, matter of fact, when I was driving up to the station today, up Hagenberger Road, what, if anything, you plan to do about blight in the city of Oakland, the dumping and all this other stuff that goes on? It seems to me that people just come to Oakland because they feel they can get away with it.
Well, you're absolutely correct. That is the feeling that we have because it's actually absolutely correct. We need to make sure that we are enforcing. Right now, there is no enforcement.
No
And
enforcement. Well, wait a minute, wait a minute. Why isn't there enforcement? You've been on the council now
right,
for 4 years.
absolutely, but it is the council who write. We write policy,
That's
and
true.
and that is what I want to make sure that the public and the community understand is that it is the mayor's office and the city administrator's office that can actually are the only branches that can actually direct city staff.
Okay, now you let's assume you are now sitting in the hot seat of the
hmm
mayor. What are you gonna do to enforce the law?
First of all, I would do what I've done previously as a staffer is work with our county to bring in sting operations. If you send a resounding message of you cannot dump in Oakland and get away with it, trust me, it will reverberate throughout the city.
Okay, and what would your message be?
My message will be sting operation. If you
What kind of
sting
sting
operation,
operation?
sting,
How would that
yeah.
work?
Well, we can work with the sheriff's department or CHP. We have done this
Mm-hmm.
previously. I have done this work with Supervisor Nate Miley. And you go to hot spots where you
Mm-hmm.
set up sting operations. When you
Mm-hmm.
see someone illegally dumping, you actually cite them, and not just that, but you tow their vehicles for 6 months. If they do it again, they get a higher citation. If they do it a third time, there will be higher penalties, such as
Now
going
let
to
me
jail.
ask you a
Yeah.
simple question, and this is very simple because this has been a pet
Yes.
peeve of mine for some time. Why not just put up some cameras and catch those crooks and throw them in jail or
hmm
under the jail, wherever they belong?
Yeah.
They don't belong here dumping.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Harris, we have cameras. But guess what? Those illegal dumpers, they don't have license plates or they have fake license plates. So it's really hard to capture them. Those cameras are good for after you catch them in the act, if you can then use the video footage to actually prosecute. So the footage is for prosecution. But many times when people come and illegally dump, they're either in stolen vehicles, they don't have license plates, or the license plates are stolen itself. Yeah.
Well, what about like in Piedmont? They have reader plates. You anytime you go into Piedmont, they're gonna know who you are and
hmm
when you leave.
Well, you're absolutely right, but that only works if the plates are actually legitimate. And so we do have cameras. We have 10 cameras that are around hotspots area. We definitely need more. In regards to license plate reader, that's something that the Privacy Commission is taking up. But more so than that, we need to ensure that for me, it's an ecosystem. So what I want to do is develop a year-round internship as well for our young people, high school all the way to 30-year-olds, to connect them with city jobs and private industry jobs so that we can have a better sense of changing of you don't litter, right? So it's the illegal dumping, it's
Hmm.
changing the culture and having community also through that culture be more responsive around how we police ourselves around the hey, make sure you throw that in the trash. But on the government side,
Well, let me ask
sure.
this question. In many sections of the city I go into, I don't even see a trash can. So if you
Yes,
don't see a trash can, the tendency is just throw it down.
absolutely.
Why can't we get more trash cans?
You can absolutely get more trash can, and you should because, and that's what the fourth part I was talking about
Hmm.
is the government piece.
Okay.
If we want to ensure that we have a clean city, yes, we need to make sure infrastructure is available. The trash bins, that is an easy lift for the city administrator and the mayor's office. I'm actually quite shocked that we haven't already placed more trash bins into especially District 6 and 7.
Yeah, I remember when Elihu Harris was mayor. he had this slogan, "We mean clean," and
Yes.
it made it. It seems to me it made a big difference.
Hmm.
So I'm impressed by anyone who understands that you got to do something to help the citizens not litter.
Yes.
And one of the things that simple things you can do is put up more trash cans. That's very
Absolutely.
simple.
Absolutely. That's one of the things. Another thing is ensuring that, when we have young ambassadors, right?
Hmm.
If they help clean the parks, they get paid for it. So you're getting
Yeah.
money in
Why
their
can't we
pockets.
have more of those?
Exactly. And that's what I want to do
And
is
who
that
funds that? That's
it
city.
could be city funding, but for me, it's city funding and private dollars
Hmm.
because it also works for big businesses such as Clorox or Pandora
Right.
to ensure that our streets are clean. It all
Absolutely.
works. It's an ecosystem. And so if we're getting money into our young people's pockets at the same time they're cleaning their parks, and I bet you anything that they'll tell their classmates, "Oh, don't you dare throw that piece of trash on the ground because I'm going to have to pick it up when I work," right? And so that's the shifting of things. You get money into people's pockets, you get cleaner parks, you get more community responsibility, and more so than that, right when I take office, I want to do what's called a total Oakland reset, meaning do a huge blitz citywide with a targeted District 6 and 7, clean all the streets so that city staff can actually have a base to start off of instead of
Uh,
continuously just chasing their tail.
Now you're saying that if you elected mayor, you're gonna start with cleaning up District 6 and 7. That would be something unheard of. Certainly in my lifetime, and I've been around a long time, and have seen the situation deteriorate. Don't touch that remote. We're gonna have to go to break. Uh, but before we do, let me say this: clean streets are so important because it gives you a different mindset. You are not apt to do lots of stuff that you would sometimes normally do if you see cleanliness as part of the process. I will be right back with All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is Sheng Thao, candidate for the mayor of Oakland.